honest. Yeah.
So when you are around all these other people that are doing it in the industrialized way, and you're doing it in your sort of regenerative way, it doesn't have any influence on those people? They see that you have a more natural approach to farming. It seems more prosperous. You're getting all this attention. People want to talk to you. It's a fascinating subject, and people gravitate towards it as a potential option. Nobody's looking at the factory farming system going, oh, wow, you stuff all those pigs together. Tell me more about that. What do? You take all the chickens and you make them live in these abnormal cages, and no one's excited about that. But when people talk to you, they're excited about it. Like, oh, that's interesting. So you can just let the chickens roam around, and you let the hogs roam around, and you let the grass grow for the cows to just graze around on. And this is how you sustain a farm. That sounds intriguing to people, because one of the big dilemmas about being a person who eats meat is contributing to this horrendous factory farming system. That's what scares people.
All right. That's a great question. I got a great answer.
Okay.
So let's just be crystal clear that these practitioners, these farmers that are farming industrially in that commoditized, centralized model are not bad people.
Right.
At all. Not bad people at all. You know, big food, big ag, they may be evil. Multinational corporations, I think it's the equivalent of big tobacco in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
But those practitioners out there on the ground are good people. So why do they not move over in the model that you said? You know, why do they not change over? And the answer is, first, they're 3 or 4 generations into farming this way. You know, they're farming like daddy, granddaddy, maybe even great granddaddy did.
So they might not even know how to change it.
Well, they don't see anything wrong with it.
Right.
You know, if you were raised with your, as most of us generational farmers are, with your role model being dad and granddad, and what they did, you're not going to say, this is bad.
Right.
It's hard to do. So that's number one. Number two is that most of these guys are not just invested in the farm. Most of those cotton farmers, also, they own $1 million cotton picker. You know a cotton picker can cost $1 million?
No, I didn't.
It can. They own $1 million cotton picker, and you know what that thing will do? Nothing but pick cotton, not a damn thing.
Mm.
They also probably have ownership in a gin, cooperative gins.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that thing does? Gins cotton,
Right.
Nothing else. And so on. Same with a grain farmer, grain combine, a grain elevator. So that's one reason they're just so heavily invested. So emotionally, they're invested. Financially, they're invested.
Ancestrally.
Industrially.
Ancestrally. Yeah, they're invested. Their family's been running it forever. It's part of the family.
On top of that, they're told every day by land grant universities and big food and big ag, this is how you do it.
Mm.
And we glamorize it, and it's fine. So those are the motivational reasons things don't change much. Let's talk about the business reasons. So let's compare my business to a commodity farmer, a larger commodity farmer. Both businesses are very capital intensive. You know, I've got $28 million worth of capital invested in my business. Some of it's debt, some of it's equity, but that's what we got. They do too. Both businesses are also low return. You know, my margins are not high, and their margins are not high. Both high capital investment, both low return. My business is high risk. Their business is not so high risk. People are forever talked about how risky farming is. You know, when you've got an arsenal of pesticides, to throw at any problem you got, when you got irrigation and the water is free where I live, other than the energy cost of getting it out of the ground, when you've got crop insurance to mitigate risk, then compared to what I do, which is own the product all the way from when the calf hits the ground to the hamburger goes in your stomach, you know, one E. coli recall, then it's over for me. That won't happen with those guys.
That's a big difference.
You know, high risk, high return, low risk, low return. How long has that been going on?
And all those things that you're citing in terms of the investments that are involved, the cotton gins and the cotton pickers and all the different things that they need, that they'd have to restructure everything, so it would take a significant investment to do that, and then a big risk.
It would be so hard for those guys, and I'm telling you, because I did the same thing. I was the same way.
Is there a way to provide this country with the cotton it needs, all the other monocrops like corn and all the soybeans? Is there a way to do that and to do it regeneratively?
Well, I think it's the wrong question. You know, what you said is a way to get us all we need farming that way. I think it's a matter of living on what we can produce. You know how many?
So you think it's a matter of not doing it that way?
How many T-shirts you got to have?
Right.
You're talking about cotton. I mean, how many T-shirts you got? I bet you got way more than you have to have.
Me? Yeah, I definitely do.
If cotton was, I don't keep up with it anymore, but I think cotton to the farmer now is close to $1 a pound. You know, if that's seed cotton, that's coming out of the field. That's actually for the lint after it's ginned. Well, you know, if cotton was $15 a pound, you'd probably have less T-shirts.
Right. You think that would be the only consequence of growing less cotton? I mean, do we absolutely use too much of it? Do we have an accounting of how much the cotton gets used every day goes to waste?
You know, what I'm good at is regenerative land management and animal welfare and community building. So that those questions are valid and they're out there. But I think that the way we farm today is wastefully, causes food or fiber to be wastefully abundant and obscenely cheap and just very damaging in the way it's produced.